First at 5 tonight, we're getting new information as one of the two Venezuelan immigrants wanted and shot by federal officers in Portland appears in federal court.
Luis Nino Moncada pleaded not guilty to 2 federal charges as we learn when he'll face a jury trial. Fox 12's Julia Lopez joins us now live. Julia, what happened in the courtroom today?
Well, today we get a clearer picture of how the case against the man shot by Customs and Border Protection will unfold. That we weren't allowed to bring cameras into the courtroom to record the moment Nino Moncada pleaded not guilty to 2 federal charges: aggravated assault of a federal officer with a deadly or dangerous weapon and depredation of federal property exceeding $1,000. What was meant to be a detention hearing ended abruptly. Federal defense attorneys for Nino Moncada asked for more time preparing their argument, and a judge will now make a bail decision next Wednesday. In documents filed with the court, federal investigators say the shooting happened during a targeted arrest of Nino Moncada's passenger, Yorlena Zambrano Contreras, who was being surveilled following suspected ties to Venezuelan gang Tren de Aragua. When Border Patrol officers asked them to exit the vehicle, investigators say Nino Moncada reversed his truck into an empty CBP car and continued to hit the car multiple times, causing extensive damage before fleeing. Officers on scene told FBI investigators they feared for their lives. They say prompting one officer to fire 2 shots into the car. Nino Moncada's attorneys filed this memo in court, saying the federal government needs to prove he was trying to hit an officer with his truck but missed. They declined to speak on camera but addressed the gang allegations in a statement, saying federal prosecutors claimed without evidence that Nino Moncada, quote, is a member of Tren de Aragua, just as they have said about many other Venezuelan citizens, going on to say, now in Portland, just like in Minneapolis and Chicago, federal immigration agents have again harmed civilians in our community and have claimed that the victims themselves are to blame. And an update on Nino Moncada's condition. His attorneys say that he missed a doctor's appointment this morning for what they call new issues to the gunshot wound to his arm in order to prepare for court. So they've asked the judge to schedule all proceedings around his medical needs. There's now a jury trial slated for March. And as for Zambrano Contreras, she remains held in the Tacoma detention facility, according to ICE records. And she does have a hearing scheduled this Friday in Portland. Her attorneys have requested a virtual appearance due to her medical condition. Reporting live from downtown Portland, Julia Lopez, Fox 12 Oregon.
All right, Julia, thank you.